Ever since 1919, the Unit Construction Company has been contributing a full share towards providing new homes for both local authorities and private ownership. Houses, flats and maisonettes, as well as factories, schools and churches, sometimes whole new towns, all have been taken in their stride by Unit during the past 40 and more years. But demand for homes grows ever faster than supply. For all over the country, people are in need of homes. Real homes, warm, spacious family homes. Now, in association with the Camus Company, pioneers of a system of building by truly industrial methods, 2,500 factory-built homes, designed to last as long as any comparable site-built dwelling, are being erected by the Unit Construction Company for the city of Liverpool. At Speke, the components for a pilot block of 10 maisonettes are being produced in this factory, the forerunner of an even larger plant set up at Kirkby by Unit to manufacture the components which ultimately will form 25 multi-story blocks of flats and 1,200 garages in Liverpool. Concrete panels are the end products from this factory. Room-sized panels incorporating nearly all the essential building features, such as door and window frames, services, insulation, etc. But now watch the process in more detail. See how the Camus system offers a wide measure of flexibility, not only of design, but also of external finishes. First, the main features, such as door and window frames, are positioned on a horizontal casting table or mould. Moulds are then secured in position, which on removal will leave the doors and windows with clean concrete surrounds. A wide variety of finishes can be used. Here a panel with square tile finish is being cast. The mould bed after preparation is lined with the appropriate tiles or mosaics. These are supplied attached by water-soluble glue to brown paper sheets, which are subsequently washed off in the factory stockyard. Panels are always cast face downwards, except in the case of panels with exposed aggregate external finishes, which are cast face uppermost. A thin layer of grout is poured over the reverse side of the tiles and spread evenly over the panel area. A layer of concrete is added, onto which is laid a light reinforcement mat. The reinforcement is covered with more concrete, forming at this stage the outer leaf of an external wall unit. Polystyrene insulation is laid on this outer leaf, followed by further concrete and reinforcement to form the inner leaf of the sandwich-like construction. During the casting process, the inner and outer leaf reinforcement is tied to make a monolithic construction of the panel, which on completion will contain all the necessary ducts, ventilation flues, conduit runs and various other services. From the operative's point of view, there is offered the attraction of permanent employment in a set place, with the added advantage that their knowledge and skills are retained. Coordination is more readily organized, compared with the improvised and temporary conditions normally prevailing on a building site. And there is far less wastage of time, by reason of one trade waiting for another. This panel is now nearing completion. Its surface is being smoothed to a high standard of finish, which after erection on the site will require no plastering and will be ready to receive paint or wallpaper. This again is a considerable factor when comparing time with the Camus system as opposed to the erection of a conventional structure. To ensure controlled conditions of manufacture and rapid reutilization of the moulds, the panels are cured under a heated and insulated cover. Also important to the production of high-quality concrete is the curing time allowed for each panel, relative to external air temperature. This in itself has been the subject of considerable research and analysis. In a sheltered and congenial factory atmosphere, the work progresses, unhampered by weather conditions. Thus, better standards are achieved, not only in terms of finished results, but also of greater productivity and less wastage of materials and man-hours. panel after panel is cast, cured, and transferred to the intermediate stockyard, where they are subjected to close inspection. Before being transported to the site, they undergo a further air curing period in the main stockyard. It is important to re-establish that in this film we have so far been dealing with the first Unit Camus factory to be built in Britain, a prototype, so to speak, of a far larger plant at Kirkby. The model helps to put its size into perspective. This factory is capable of producing 2,000 homes a year. An operation of this magnitude is, of course, dependent on a well-organized system of planning and control. To ensure a smooth flow of units through the factory and their subsequent transportation in the correct order to the site, a record is kept for each panel, containing every item of relevant information about that panel, from its type and code number, through every aspect of its production and movement, right up to its scheduled time of arrival at the site. Not the least of these important control elements is the provision of precise day-to-day site requirements. This information enables vehicles to be loaded with panels in exactly the correct order required to allow them to be transferred directly from the transporter and into position in the building, thus obviating the stacking of units on the site. Incidentally, the technique of site preparation is very similar to that employed for conventional structures of comparable size. A fundamental principle of the Camus system, and one of its many advantages, rests on the greatly reduced amount of work which has to be carried out on the site, by reason of the incorporation during manufacture of the various elements and associated trade work within the individual units. As each panel is hoisted into its preordained place in the building, it is carefully checked for alignment and verticality, and is securely held in position temporarily by specially designed adjustable props. During manufacture of the panels, provision is made for securing them to the props. The large size of the units reduces the number of joints and junctions to be made, and as these only occur in the corners of rooms, a perfect finish can easily be obtained. Joints are bonded with the reinforcement left projecting from the panels when they were cast, and are then poured with concrete, which is compacted by poker vibration. The site erection schedule is so planned to allow time for these joints to set thoroughly before work on the next floor is begun. Because by comparison less work is carried out on the site, the standards of completed dwellings do not vary, as with conventional building, from site to site. High standards are a matter of certainty rather than chance, the panels reproducing the same degree of accuracy as the molds that cast them, perfectly flush-faced and accurate in all dimensions. Another considerable advantage of the system is that finishing work, such as painting, papering, door hanging, fixing of kitchen and bathroom equipment, can start hard on the heels of actual construction. Again, once the first floor units have been erected, work on the installation of services gets underway, and is continued in dry conditions regardless of the weather. With conduit runs, socket outlet points and switch boxes, etc. already cast into the panels, electrical work on the site is reduced to circuit wiring only. Further development work is in progress with a view to incorporating fully wired circuits during manufacture. If adopted, the circuits will, however, be rewirable in accordance with the Camus insistence on renewable services. All electrical installations will, of course, comply with the requirements of local electricity boards. By the same token, gas and plumbing services have also been designed to conform with relevant codes of practice. Units forming the roof are cast with thermal insulation and all necessary outlets incorporated. But the final waterproof finish of asphalt is applied on the site, this being a simpler and quicker method than the provision of jointing and flashing connections in the units during manufacture. To begin with, 2,500 new homes for Liverpool. A tall enough order indeed. The families who will inhabit these flats may not even realize the extent to which their new homes started in a factory, that they came into being unit by unit through an industrial system unique in building history, by production techniques not altogether dissimilar to those which produced their motor cars, refrigerators, washing machines, even the furniture around them. Times change. Needs change. And so too must methods change if we are to satisfy the cry for homes, and still more homes.